I feel like it's 2022 or 2023 all over again as I'm making an update video for Grounded, as there will be a new update coming to the game very soon. The 1.4.7 update is currently in a player test build, which you can access via the public test server. If you don't know how to do that, there will be a link for a video that I made that shows you how to do it in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment. Also, if you do find this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. So what is this update going to be bringing? It's going to be bringing gameplay and balance updates, remix scaling and rewards, new playground features, and game fixes and stability. So let's jump over to the patch notes and quickly skim through them to see what the major changes are going to be. All right, patch notes for 1.4.7, general changes. Zipline speed boost when using the zipper. Zipline speed is now 50% faster. This will be really huge if you have a really long zipline or if you're going uphill in a zipline. As you know, going uphill in the zipline can be very slow, especially if you're traveling a long distance. So this is going to make traveling much faster. Gamepad movement, walking slower than sprint speed no longer drains stamina. I play on mouse and keyboard, so I have no idea how much of an impact this is. Let me know if this is a big impact and if hopefully it's a good fix for at least some of you. Lore trap update now attracts all land creatures except stink bug, green shield bugs, and all water creatures. This is a huge change for the lore trap because, to be completely honest, at some point they made a change to it and it kind of made it like completely useless. Now I'll have to test this out as well as test out the lore arrows to see what they do. But when the lore trap was originally added and I first unlocked it, I used to place it down on the stones around the pond and it would attract everything close by. Wolf spiders, orb weavers, red ants, weevils, aphids. It would attract everything. And at some point they made a change to it to where it attracted pretty much nothing and it just didn't really work. So this will be really interesting to test this out. One thing I'm kind of thinking of right away would be getting the lore trap and then placing it around the oak tree or placing it somewhere near the oak tree to attract the wolf spiders away from it. So you can go in there and harvest the milk molars, the upgrade stuff that's inside under the tree if you don't want to fight them. Pet updates. Pet baby ants, 50% more health and armor. This will be helpful for you if you're playing in woe mode. On mild and medium, they're invincible, so they can't die. Aphid pet buffs. Reduces stamina drain while sprinting by 30% was 20%. So that's a 50% increase. That's pretty substantial. Increases player movement speed by 15%. So right now I have a pet weevil, but looking at these stats for the aphid, I think I might switch over to an aphid because this does seem like it might be a slightly better buff, especially for exploring. The weevil pet buff reduces thirst drain by 50%, was 20%. So that's was that a 250% increase? And then reduces hunger drain by 50%. So this is going to be super useful for our keeper if you don't want to have to worry about eating or drinking throughout the day. Now, for me personally, I feel like managing hunger and thirst, once you end up getting a dew collector and you get a canteen and then you just start getting food going, it's really not that big of a deal, but this could be helpful for some of you. So definitely cool to see the pets being buffed a little bit here. Boss adjustments. The Manus boss scream can now be perfect block. Pretty cool. If you're good at perfect blocking, you won't have to worry about hiding and being away from that. So you'll be able to perfect block it because the scream, I'm pretty sure that's the attack that does debuffs on you. So you want to make sure you block that or avoid it. Now here's for the big changes. This is going to be the remix yard general changes. Armor upgrade expansion. All armors can now be upgraded to level 15. Prior to this, only weapons could be upgraded beyond level 9. And I can only imagine, as I said, I haven't really tried. I'm going to be jumping into NG Plus pretty soon on my 1.0 save. And then eventually I'll get to it on the Forever World save that I'm working on right now, but I'm not rushing on that one. But I do have my 1.0 save where I'm just ready to jump right into it. So prior to this update, you would only be able to upgrade your armor to level 9. And with the enemies scaling up infinitely, that would mean you're going to be taking a ton of damage. So being able to upgrade your armor like you could with your weapons up to level 15 does make sense. These are actually like the same percent increases as the weapons, 90%, 115 up to 215% for level 15 here. Infusion attack damage significantly reduced against buildings, helping in Java-matic and base defense battles. I have heard that if you get raided by wasps or mosquitoes in NG Plus and one of them is infused, they will absolutely just tear apart your building. So hopefully this is going to help with that and make it where your buildings don't get completely destroyed, and hopefully have less of you go to custom mode and turn off the faction reactivity, because it is a cool part of the game. New custom game option. You can now adjust the remix level in survival mode, and then it just kind of tells you where to find it. And then remix level now displays past level 10. If you want to be a savage at the game and just go past level 10, that's a lot of grinding to get to level 10 and keep going. You got to be a true backyard warrior to keep going past that. Remix yard scaling updates. Raw science rewards scale with remix level. Infused creature base reward of 3,000 raw science increased by 10% per mix level. So that would mean the next one will be 3,300. Then I guess 3,639. I don't think it's going to be like multiplicative. It's probably just going to be additive there. It's not going to be like 33. Then what would the next one be? Then you add 330 to it. I bet it's just 10% per level. Boss rewards now 30,000 raw science, increasing by 20%. That's pretty good. That means the next one's going to be, what, 36,000? So that's a pretty big jump in raw science. Boss drops at remixed level 4+4 and higher. Bosses have a 30% chance to drop an extra infused ooze. Burgle quests and raw science pickups increase by 200% per remix level. So you're going to be able to farm raw science much faster in the remix yards. Creature damage and scaling. This is kind of a big one here because I'm pretty sure at some point I'm actually positive at some point they nerfed with the damage that I guess the creatures did. They basically made the NG plus levels easier. I think I read something that was like the original NG plus 4 is now equal to like NG plus 10 or something, or vice versa. Basically they made it like it took forever to scale up to where it was before. When it first came out, it was super hard. They made it a lot easier. Now it seems like they're probably trying to go back a little bit more in the middle because maybe they feel like they made it a little too easy. So before this would be starts at, so this is old system, 20% damage per remix level, and then the new system's 20%, but larger amounts at each level. So it goes up by like 5%. So you'll see here before level 1, 20, then 40, then 60. So each one goes by 20. Now it's 20%, then it goes up by 25%, then 30%, then it'll be 35%. So level 4 would be 110%, then it's going to go up by 40%. So it's going to keep going up faster. So the higher the level you get, the harder it's going to be. Mutation changes. Barbarian mutation now reduces the perfect block window instead of removing it. This is actually a really good change because, to be completely honest, Barbarian's completely useless if you can't perfect block unless you're carrying a shield. But then in that case, you still want to be able to perfect block. So this is a good change. Honestly, instead of it says reducing the perfect block window, if you use it with a koi scale armor, maybe it'll even out so it's back to the normal perfect block window. Although I guess we'll have to test that out. Apex Predator mutation now works with all infused weapons. Playground mode. I'm just going to go through this really quickly because I barely touch Playground mode and I don't know of many people that play it a ton. Maybe these changes will get more people in it. Let me know in the comments down below if you're actually playing Playground mode or if you're still playing it. Actually, I know a lot of people tried it, but if you're actually still playing it. Story quests can now be enabled in Playground mode. I think that'll help a lot for making people be able to create content in there, because before you had to make up your own quests and it just wasn't the same as being able to use the quests that were currently in the game. Backyard bosses can now be summoned in their boss arenas. Web sacks can now spawn Spiralings and Black Widows. Creatures and bosses can have some of their stats customized. You'll see those here. Weapons and tools can have the following stats increase with name, durability. Okay, so you can do stuff with that. Remix levels, selection of Playground, so you can mess with the remix. That actually could be a way of testing things out. Go into Playground, choose the remix level, and be able to try some things out. And then there's a bunch of music added to Playground mode. So if you're into Playground mode, this will hopefully make you a little bit happier. If you haven't played Playground mode or you haven't tried it in a long time, maybe some of these changes will get more of you back into it. Bug fixes. Salty weapons now probably turn creatures into jerky. I never really noticed that being an issue, but it's been a while since I played with a salty weapon. In fact, actually, that's not even true. I played on one of my older saves not that long ago with salty weapons. I thought it was turning them into jerky, but maybe some of the weapons weren't working. Oh, it says underwater. Maybe it was working everywhere but underwater. Cupid arrow fix no longer makes the player invincible. Unlucky, that would have been a huge buff, being invincible. If a creature under Cupid's arrow effect is hit by the player, the effect disappears and the creature becomes hostile again. That kind of makes sense. Otherwise, you'd be able to just kind of spam, shoot the arrow, attack it a bunch of times, shoot the arrow, attack it a bunch of times, and kind of cheese things. Ambassador pets. Having Ambassador with a pet no longer makes the ants see you in the ant hills. Okay. Gnat pet fix. Gnats won't stop following you if you bump into them. Burgle quests. Some quests that wouldn't be complete properly are now fixed. Haven't had any issues with those just yet. Epic Burgle quest number 10, Mixologist now correctly asked for the normal smoothies. Okay. Playground build fix. Antenna in the field. That's another playground, I think. Ant Queen summoning gear now correctly aggroes enemies on spawn. Fixed crashes, relocating ladders, using the Shinobi Sneeze ability. And then fixed world issues. Players can no longer fall to the world at the woodpile entrance. I did see a little clip. It was up. They were exploring the blue tarp up in the top left corner of the map by the woodpile, and they went behind a part of it, and then they ended up, you could just fall straight through the map all the way through to the bottom, and then you were just kind of, I guess you would just die and respawn up there. So that's been fixed, and then they fixed various Fire Ant Hill spawn issues, and then some UI and localization fixes. So overall, a lot of quality of life stuff here in terms of, like, I think making NG Plus a little more balanced. I think that's going to be cool. The changes to the pets, increasing their buffs a little bit, cool. I definitely want to test out the lore trap because I think that's going to be interesting. Good quality of life here with the zipline will just help you get around faster, especially when you're going long distances or going uphill, or even going long distances on one that's kind of has a very narrow decline to it. But one thing I don't see in here, and I'm very curious to see if it's something they didn't adjust or if it's going to happen, or maybe they just forgot to put it in here, The roasting spits currently allow food to be kept on them infinitely, and they never spoil. So I know at some point after 1.0, they made it where the roasting spits would keep food from spoiling longer. So I think it said like significantly increased, but I don't think it was significantly increased to the point where they literally never spoil. I've tested up to 20 days of having a food on a roasting spit and it did not spoil. So it'll be interesting to see if they change that. But anyway, these are the patch notes. I'll leave a link for the patch notes in the description down below. I'll leave a link for that video if you're interested in joining the public test server, which you can, like I said, they're normally, I think they're about 1 to 2 weeks. That's what they were in the past. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.